Hey everyone, it's Thursday. You know what that means? We go about our expert series and we bring back Jonathan Twomley. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Well, it's Thursday. That means we got to start with our trend and talk about new unemployment claims. I trust you saw that this morning.
I did indeed see it, and it is too early to say that we were right, but as we've said before, we don't really want to be right,
Yeah,
but we want to be realistic.
right.
And unemployment claims have risen. Now it's risen by about 40,000 claims over last week.
Yeah.
Not a huge number, not a number that makes you think like, oh my God, the collapse of the labor market is
Yeah.
upon us. However, it is not good. It's going in the other direction. It's the first increase in a month, and it's coming as we're seeing, COVID literally getting out of control. It's like we have basically lost our grip
Yeah.
on COVID, it seems, and I think this is the first that you're going to see of this. So
Yeah.
not good news to see this
Yeah.
number going in the wrong direction.
Yeah. So we were at 709 last week, folks, just to put numbers on it. I think it was 747 this morning. So up about 40,000 or, 5%. I'm certainly more pessimistic than I think Jonathan is right now. Anytime it's a single data point, you can't call a trend. And I know that, but this is what we've been talking about. Jonathan correctly targeted, this was going to be happening. And then again, if you just tie that in with what's going on across the country, not only are we losing, the health crisis across the country, but you have the two biggest states essentially locking down, right?
Yeah.
California's governor is talking about curfews, for goodness sakes, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, we had in New York, we've had kind of like a, window dressing, I'd say. They said, oh, bars have to close at 10. They were able to be open at 11. So I don't think that 1 hour is going to make a whole lot of difference in terms of corona transmission, but they're trying to kind of signal that they're concerned. Yeah. But the big news in New York City is that the schools suddenly yesterday afternoon were shut down as of today, just like, and this is probably a little bit of overkill. I think that there had been an agreement between the city and the teachers union that if the transmission rate got above 3%, that they would shut the schools down. Now, the school transmission rate is like infinitesimal. There's almost no transmission happening among students, but the overall city transmission rate, it kind of got up close to 3% last week. They kind of issued a warning, then it dropped down. This is the 7-day transmission rate, the rolling transmission rate. Got up close to 3, went back down. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief, and suddenly it spiked up, and they said, "Okay, we're out." On a statewide level, they've said 9. If we get to 9%, then they're going to start shutting stuff down again. But so New York City had this just for the schools. It doesn't affect restaurants or anything like that, but just for the schools, it had this very kind of draconian, level that they agreed to. But when they agreed to it, the transmission rate was below 1%. So I think they thought like, oh, this is safe. We'll never
triples,
get there.
No big deal. Yeah.
Yeah, but so we'll be heading upstate on Sunday for starting our Thanksgiving week early.
There you go.
So that's, actually the kids were excited about that. So that's good. Yeah.
But again, that's just a sign of what we've been talking about. Folks, again, Jonathan has a playlist on this channel. You can go back weeks and months and see that we've been warning you about Q4 pain coming, and it's here, and we're right. And we both didn't want to be right, but I'm willing to say it again. It's going to get worse from here.
It's going to get worse for a lot of reasons. One reason it's going to get worse is just what's happening with coronavirus, right? It's going to cause even the states that have been reluctant to shut down to impose more restrictions, and that's going to have an effect, right? It's also going to really just whatever recovery we've had in tourism, and surprisingly, there has been a little bit. I mean, there are like actually tourists in New York again now, which is surprising. Not enough to really sustain the hotels, but they're doing their best. But I mean, that's going to cause that to shrink. If
they've
not
already, I got notes on United, Southwest, and Delta this morning talking about the cancellation rate spiking in the last 48 hours.
Oh, really? About people canceling trips to everywhere?
Just everywhere. People are talking about, Thanksgiving. Everybody's talking about Thanksgiving now, right? It's going to be this huge super spreader event when you bring the young and the old together to, celebrate Thanksgiving. And all three airlines just this morning, CNBC talking about a significant increase in cancellations.
Yeah, I mean, I
for
think
next week.
so. That's going to have an effect, and
Yep.
on top of it, as we've been talking before, we have now 12 million workers, 12 million unemployed people who are
Yeah.
about to lose their benefits at the end of the year when the CARES Act runs out. And
So
if it's
sad.
not reauthorized, it is, if it's not reauthorized, all those people are going to lose those benefits. All that spending is going to dry up,
Yep.
and that's going to have an effect. And I don't foresee anything happening with Congress,
Mm-mm.
before then. You've got the 2 Senate races undecided in Georgia. The Senate is not, McConnell's not going to do anything and those elections not till January. So McConnell's not going to do anything until he knows what his strength is, right?
Yep.
Whether he's going to be the majority leader or not coming up in the next year.
Yep.
The parties have basically stopped negotiating with each other. Biden came out with his opening, negotiating position, which is $3.4 trillion, which is not going to, the Republicans are talking about 500 billion,
right?
I mean, now, again, these are like opening negotiating positions, but if you think about how long it's going to take to close, is going to take a substantial amount of time to negotiate that gap away. It's not going to happen before the CARES Act expires. And then you've got the issue of whether Trump is even going to sign it, which I highly doubt he's going to sign anything. So,
well, yeah, that and the fact that Congress is on recess, right?
Yeah,
I think starting tomorrow, and
they can always come into an emergency lame duck session, but
not going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen. It looks like they're not even talking to each other at the moment. So what we're looking at, folks, is 12 million people losing their unemployment benefits at the end of next month. And that is going to hurt the economy. Not to mention with people are, as we say, we talk about every week, these numbers, the continuing claims have been dropping, but that's because people are running out they've ran through their 26 weeks. Now they're tripping over into these other programs, which are also rising. We didn't talk about the fact that the jobless claims are up, but also the claims for the emergency relief are up. And I got to find the number.
Up 263,000.
Yeah. But there's also, this is just a shocking number to me. Even with people rolling out of these benefit programs, we have right now 20.32 million people collecting some kind of unemployment benefit. That, what it was a year ago? The number?
6.
1.1.
Whoa.
So
wow.
It is more than 10 times the number from last year.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And so obviously all of the money that those people are getting is helping the economy stay afloat. People are paying their rent.
Oh, I'm just thinking that's the gig. I'm trying to figure out how that happened. That has to be the gig workers and stuff, folks that would maybe not qualify under the old system. Is that?
Yeah, that could be part of it. I mean, we don't know what's baked into that number.
That's just so huge. 20 million. Oh my gosh. Okay.
So, and I think just the way things are, disproportionately, this is more of your, working class folks, because they are the first person usually to get cut. And the offices seem to be still cranking ahead for the most part with online, work from home. So, people at the upper end of the income distribution are hanging in there okay, if not doing better. And actually this ties into, I know one of our topics we're going to hit maybe in the next video is the single family housing market.
Sure. Single
family home sales are doing well, and especially at the upper end of the market.
Yeah,
so,
they are. So folks, pay attention for next week, right? Next week's going to be a big week for me. It's going to be, is it trend validation, right? Do we go from, just call it 750 to 775, 780, 790, right? Do we, God forbid, get to 800? I think it's going to be reported on Friday. Or when would it be reported next week? Do you know? Because Thanksgiving's next week. Does it come out Wednesday?
Actually, I don't know. I mean, I'm guessing it would come out on Friday rather than
probably Friday. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. Okay. Yeah. We'll figure it out. All right, Jonathan, this has been a lot of fun. Again, we're right. We didn't want to be right. Next week's important. Do we get validation? So we'll talk about single family homes next.
Yep.
Thanks.